and I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize for my graphic remarks this morning. Apologizing and saying sorry, you can only say that so many times.
Toronto Mayor Rob Ford has been saying sorry a lot. He also said he is done apologizing. Should he be done apologizing? Is it really time to move on from the scandals surrounding Rob Ford? And how does the mayor convince people to accept the apology when appetite for this scandal remains high around the globe? Daniel Tisch is president of the public relations firm Argyle Communications. He has had to craft an apology or two for his clients, mainly from the corporate world before, and he joins me now. Daniel Tisch, we've heard the mayor many a times say he is sorry, and we heard him again yesterday. Let's just take a look at this clip. I want to play it for you.
I've apologized enough. I've admitted my mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and go on and on and on. There's only so many times you can apologize, so many times you can say, it's my fault, there's no one else to blame but myself. I've said that over and over and over again, but you guys just won't give up.
Is that really an apology, Daniel?
Well, I think most people would say it's not, and that's why it doesn't work, because in our heads, our hearts, our guts, we listen to this, and it doesn't really sound contrite. And I think the core problem is one of the most basic rules of the apology in public relations terms is that contrition and aggression don't mix. And he's trying to do both at once, and that's why I think it's not working for Mayor Ford.
What should he say? If you were advising him, what would you tell him to say?
I think there are a few things. I mean, the first thing you have to do is you have to tell the truth comprehensively, and you have to tell it early. And the problem is, the perception is that he's only telling a little bit of the truth, and he's only telling it because of the mountain of evidence against him. Secondly, don't attack your stakeholders, especially when they have more credibility than you. I think attacking the chief of police was a really serious strategic error, and even attacking other councillors, the media, they're all folks right now who have more credibility than he does. Third, I think you have to focus your apology on your audience. And really, when you listen to him, it's all about him. It's, I'm done apologizing, I'm moving on. Well, it's not for him to decide when it's time to move on. It's for the audience and the people of Toronto to decide, I've accepted the apology. Finally, have a plan of action, right? And so he's certainly acknowledged part of the problem, but the solution is really very vague. And all he's saying is basically, trust me, I'm not an addict, and I'll do better in the future. And I think for a lot of people, that's not good enough.
Tricky, though, I would imagine, especially for someone who's advising, is in charge of someone's reputation, as you often are as a public relations executive. Do you necessarily, what if the person isn't prepared to tell the whole truth? Can they really genuinely apologize?
Well, I think you can, I think if there's a level of sincerity to it.
That's the tricky part,
yeah,
right?
No, it is tricky. And I guess what I'd say is, if there are legitimate reasons why you can't reveal everything, then that's fine. But I think the challenge is people don't see his reasons as legitimate. Basically, the impression is he doesn't want to tell the whole truth about perceived and alleged links with drug dealers and gang members and violent criminals.
Alleged,
right? He doesn't want to address these issues, and the perception is because he fears that he may incriminate himself. And I think for a lot of people that just creates even more worry. And so I think that he could get through this if he was genuinely and consistently contrite. But I think the problem is he's not. He's mixing that contrition with aggression, and I think that's like mixing oil and water. It doesn't work.
It's a bit poisonous for him, his reputation, you're saying. What about, I interviewed his lawyer, his criminal lawyer earlier, and he pointed the finger very strongly at the media, saying you see right there what's happening in council, what happened in council yesterday when he knocked down Pam McConnell. And by the way, we're going to hear from her in a couple of minutes, so stay tuned for that also. But when we see that kind of behavior, his lawyers said, well, he's been baited. He's been baited constantly by the media. The Canadian media has been horrendous, according to his lawyer. What do you make of that?
Well, problem number one is don't have your lawyer speak for you during a crisis, right? I mean, that only reinforces the image of wrongdoing, that, oh, I'm not going to address this, so my lawyer is going to go out because I'm afraid that I might get into legal trouble. So that's the first problem. The other problem is, okay, I have some sympathy for the guy who is trying to get into his car in the morning and their media in the parking lot, or he's trying to get his morning coffee at Tim Hortons and their media there waiting for him. But the problem is he has never been transparent with the media. He doesn't publish his schedule. He doesn't refuse to talk to them. He answers questions selectively. And so
he's not told the truth on occasion.
No, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, be truthful, be transparent, be professional with the media, and treat them as representatives of the public that you claim to represent. And I think, you know, public office holders who follow those 3 rules, I think generally do better, have better relationships with the media and with the public as well. And so their time in office is perhaps a little more sustainable.
To be fair, he has been speaking out a lot for himself. He's gotten into trouble while he's been doing that, but the mayor has been speaking for himself. We wanted to talk to his lawyer specifically because he has referenced his lawyer so much as saying, well, I'm only not talking to the police because my lawyer told me not to. So it was for that reason that we needed to talk to his lawyer about why.
Sure, yeah. No, and I think that's fair. But the reality is he's doing a lot of media, but the question is this really helping him, right? I mean, doing CNN and doing Sun Media, you know, last night.
What's that about? And only one Canadian interview. He seems to have taken on the view that the Canadian media either cannot be trusted or is to blame for his problems, and therefore he's only going to speak to the American media.
Well, I think it's actually a very poor strategy because, you know, Torontonians are acutely worried, perhaps too worried sometimes about what the rest of the world thinks of us. And I don't think a lot of people will appreciate him drawing even more attention to himself and to the situation. And in some ways, going on, you know, he may think that going on CNN and going on Sun Media is helping him get his message out, but they're actually using him for entertainment. And again, I don't think that's helping his cause.
All right, well, we'll leave it there with you. Daniel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Daniel Tisch, president of the public relations firm Argyle Communications, joining me in studio. All right, I want to take you